Our next speaker is NAWEL LALOUT, the project manager of FAIR Duchenne data for the World Duchenne Organization. At this organization, she manages, facilitates, and oversees the verification process of Duchenne muscular dystrophy patient registries and relevant resources. FAIR is about making Duchenne-related data findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable for both humans and machines. Nawel, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Hello, everyone. I'm Nawel. I'm really happy to be here and to talk to you about FAIR sharing without oversharing. So, but before, I will have to use, can you see my next slide? I assume yes.
Yes,
so,
it's okay.
Thank you. So not long ago, we've announced on all our social media that 2 FAIR rare diseases registries were interoperable. So interoperability was achieved between the EAMDA and the Duchenne data platform. So I'm going to explain to you what it actually all means. So before we go any further, and because my title has FAIR, the sharing and the oversharing, maybe I could start with the FAIR part, because it's not actually the splitting anything equally. It means that data and services should be findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable for both humans, but also machines. And when we talk about machines, we're talking about computers. And this FAIR, it's in fact the FAIR guiding principles for scientific data management and stewardship. It's a new kind of concept in data management. It's a global initiative that was described in this paper that appeared back in 2016. But the essence of it means that we need to use machines to enhance the ability of machines to automatically find and use the data. So how? For findable, it means that data are not stored in text, but in computer language format for automatization. So for computers to be able to understand the question and to find the right information. It means that healthcare professionals can find what data exists and find it. For accessibility, it means that we need a resource needs to be as open as possible, but as close as needed, and where GDPR obligations are respected. This is about finding the data you are looking for, but that you clearly know if you are authorized to use that information or not. Then for interoperability, when 2 digital resources, 2 registries, for example, are related to the same topic, Duchenne muscular dystrophy, it is possible for machines to link and merge that information. Then any records in any languages and any formats can be combined. The reusability, which is the ultimate objective of FAIR, is then the purpose is to be able to not only use them, but reuse them, and more than once, for research, but also by healthcare professionals, by regulators, funders, families, and patients themselves. Now, I do represent the Duchenne community. I work for the World Duchenne Organization, and we have a very firm commitment to FAIR. In fact, so much that we've written a FAIR declaration. It's available on all our websites. It lists all our what we want to achieve with this. And the main one is that all our registries, platforms need to be FAIR. And the first registry to undertake this, the first FAIR project concerns the Duchenne data platform. It is managed by a patient organization in the Netherlands, the Duchenne Parent Project. So this platform was built in 2018. It was made FAIR last year in 2021, and we've made it interoperable with EAMDA this year in September, hence why there was an announcement. Now, the FAIR project, very briefly. So the registries, it's online, you can access it online, but also through wearables. And it was built with interoperability in mind. So all the files, all the health file, the patient's informations are stored in JSON files. And the data, we only use health data, health records, and no personal information. We had a whole team, a core team of FAIR experts, software engineer, advisors who worked with us. And we had, in fact, the FAIR expert who worked with us is one of the co-authors of that paper that you've seen earlier. The solution is called FAIR in a Box, and I will show it to you. The approach, because we've already built our registry, we didn't want to reinvent the wheel. We didn't want to invest considerable amount of money. So we wanted to find a solution that we kind of on top, that we could put as a layer on top of our existing infrastructure. It was self-funded by the patient organization itself, and it took us 1 year to achieve to this point. And all of the logos at the bottom of my slide are the organizations that supported. I helped us make it happen. So the FAIR in a box, we say in a box because everything happens in one place. And there is a cloud around my box because, in fact, they are cloud-based software. They're interacting with each other. And on the left-hand side, if I have my pointer, yes. So patients will upload their information on this platform, and that in their private lockers. And those information are stored in a Duchenne repository. Then we will, so the transformation from raw data to FAIR data happens in 3 simple steps. The first one, we're going to extract the information we need, the files or the data sets we need to verify. We extract them, they're in JSON files, so we're going to transform them. So we send them to receive a series of transformations here. And all of these have already been programmed in advance. So everything happens automatically. And then the output is we load this, what we call RDF file. So this is a resource description framework, is the machine language format. And we load them into another repository where we store our FAIR data, but also our metadata. So this is the information about the data itself. Then we make those information available to others to use. Researchers, clinicians, and even patients themselves. So this is just a very simple visual, but you need to know that between the clinicians who would send the query and all of this infrastructure, we have, of course, authentication, authorization, and infrastructure, but we also have what we call a FAIR data point. And a FAIR data point is it's this description of a registry. It's where we store all our metadata. So for the metadata is open, anyone can access this information to see which type of data set we collect. But when it comes to FAIR data, this is closed because you need to have you need to be authorized to access that information. Then I would like to talk to you about this interoperability between the Duchenne Data Platform and ERN-UNMD. To put everything in context, the ERN-UNMD needed to be FAIR as well, needed to be fair by design, but it needed to be interoperable with 4 pilot registries. So one of them is the Duchenne Data Platform in the Netherlands, a DMScope in France, and SmartCare in Germany, and CRAMP in the Netherlands. So they all had to be FAIR, and as well as the central registry. And then what I like to use this analogy or this of climbing the highest mountains in Europe, because to make lots of registries across different countries interoperable, it's not an easy task. And the querying, we call it, this is for federated queries. And so my first mountain to climb was to build the ERN registry from scratch. So that has happened already. The second mountain was to connect the 4 pilot registries. And the third mountain to climb, my Mount Everest, it is to connect all the HCPs. I think there are about 84 from 25 countries that need to be interoperable with ERN UNMD. So it's a lot of work. And the press release that you saw earlier was, this is what that milestone that we achieved, the interoperability part with just one registry. And the others are also working on their interoperability, which will happen in a month or two. So this is just to put everything in context. And you might wonder how a patient-led registry and an ERN registry were made fair, but also interoperable. Well, this is because we use the same verification solution, but we also use the same standards. So this is it's more just to talk through it. It's just this is how you verify a resource. This is the common data elements that you need to store in a rare disease registry. And this is the starting point, our verification process. But we also use models, semantic models for metadata and data to be able to code all the information. So I won't go into too much technical details, but just to give you an idea. Now, the sharing part, where is this shared, the fair sharing? But in our world, in a fair world, we don't talk about sharing a lot, we talk about data visiting, because the algorithms go to the resource and try to find the information, so the machines, rather than the data moves to someone that has requested it. So to be able to share information, you need to be able to be listed, to be found, to be discovered. So the Duchenne data platform is listed or indexed in the European Joint Programme on Rare Diseases virtual platform. This virtual platform is an ecosystem, federated ecosystem of lots of resources, biobanks, registries, catalogs, they're all listed there. And then eventually you will be able to query them. But this part, the querying part, is still in development. Whilst this was happening, we thought, okay, what can we do at Duchenne and ERN UNMD to test whether the interoperability works? Can we ask simple questions and get results back? And this is what we did. And we found a solution how to do it, which we added to this infrastructure called Garlic. But don't worry about it, it's too technical. So this is a screenshot. I can't do a live demo, but this is just a screenshot of a simple question. And the simple question, you might not be able to read it. It says, please return the number of patients in the registry with the corresponding disease code. So I want to know in my registry how many patients with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And this was a testing environment, not with real information. And we press execute, and we got in a fraction of a second a count and nothing else. So this was for a count, what we call a count use case. And we're now doing another demo for phenotypes where we ask, can you tell me if there are the shared phenotypes between the Duchenne data platform and ERN UNMD? That has happened successfully, as well as, we can test different questions and different queries. So where is the oversharing part? So this is what it shows here is that the Duchenne data platform and ERN UNMD have implemented the Garlic, both followed the same code implementation, and we shared the same file where we have all our questions, all our queries. Those queries, by the way, are not any queries or any question. They are validated by experts themselves, by clinicians, and by the ethical committee of ERN UNMD. And then what happens is that we get a visual in that scientists, clinicians or researchers could see. These are the patients in the Duchenne data platform. These are patients in the UNMD. But of course, these figures were in a test environment. They're not real figures, but we know that is possible. And then So there's no oversharing. We control the questions and we control the answers that we receive, because we don't want machines to get us information that we don't need. So you only get a count. So this was possible because there's synergy, trust, and flexibility between all the parties that work together. On all the experts, but also the Duchenne Parent Project really trusted the FAIR experts. So they trusted them with the registry, they trusted them with hosting the data in a secure health data certified server, which made it possible to do live demos. And then, but ultimately, all of this work that we are doing, we would like all of us, and also you who are participating in this conference, you will be able to ask safe and useful questions over all European neuromuscular disease registries to advance science, treatment, and awareness. But this happened with only one patient registries and ERN registries. We need more registries to join our efforts. And this is why I invite any one of you who has a registry or thinking of implementing a registry to contact me. And then we could tell you how you could, follow the same steps, because the solution that we are implementing is open source. So anyone could implement it free of charge. So I would like to acknowledge, of course, all those who are working with us. As you can see, there are quite a few of them. And I would like to thank you for your attention. And I'm really happy to take your if you have any questions. Thank you.
If anyone, yeah, Madeline, you have a question, please go ahead.
Yes, I have a question, because nowadays many patient organizations or healthcare professionals are considering to set up registries. Is it good to already beforehand consider the FAIR options, or is it also an option to do it afterwards, or is it then more work?
Okay, both options are possible. So for example, for ERN EAMDA, the FAIR happened at the same time as they were building the registry. So we say it's FAIR by design. For the Duchenne, it was done retrospectively. So we added something on top. But my advice would be, if you are about to kind of develop, build your own registry, start from the beginning, because then you know which data sets to collect, and then which data to verify. So which question you are likely to ask and answers that you need. So it's from start from the beginning. And if you have no idea on how to build your own registry, please contact me or contact ERN UNMD, the steering committee, ERN UNMD, because they are, we're all discussing how we can support others to not only maybe license an existing registry that is already FAIR, so you don't have to do both and take a long time. We will save you 2 years of work and a lot of funds.
Okay,
I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.